those shoulders back and down, opening up the chest, breathing into belly so let's not arching that back too much as we open the chest. Necks are long. We begin to soften our body, just let it relax as we breathe in and out. And then let's lengthen on that next inhale and exhale. We'll just walk our hands around to the right, a little twist here. Only holding for 2 breaths. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale. We deepen that twist. And we'll come back around to the center. Inhale, we lengthen. And exhale, we'll twist around to the left. 2 breaths here. Good, and coming back around, inhale, let's lift those hands up high. Good, exhale, we'll just do a little side stretch over to the right, pressing that left hip down into our mat, lengthening, even on the inside of those ribs, so we're not just crunching here. Good, and inhale, we lift up. And again, exhale, we'll go over to the left, opening here, opening here. And inhale, we'll come up. And exhale, hands will come down. Little fold here. And rolling our way up. We'll bring those hands back behind us, lifting our chest. Little arch in the back here. And coming on up on that inhale. And then exhale, we'll come forward. Little round, little fold. Inhale, we'll roll our way up. And again, bring those hands back behind us, lifting our heart. Little arch in the spine. Good, and slowly we'll come back up to a nice neutral spine. We'll uncross those legs. We'll bring them out in front of us, a little bit wider than our hips. And now from here, hands can be right on the floor behind us. We're just gonna do some little windshield wipers here. Exhale, we'll bring those knees down. Inhale, we'll come up. And exhale, we'll go down to the other side. Just moving with our breath a few times. Get those legs moving around inside our hip sockets. Good, let's do one more to each side. Good, now let's come up to the center. We'll lift our hands up off of the floor and we can just kind of wave them around or whatever, put them up above our heads. And we're gonna try and do that without our hands this time. So exhale, knees go down. Inhale, we come up. And exhale, we'll go down again. Inhale up. Exhale down. down. Good, let's inhale up. Exhale, we're gonna go down to the right, and then we're gonna turn toward that right leg. Hands will come down to the floor, right in front of that right leg. We'll just do a little fold here. Good, and then slowly we'll help ourselves up, all the way up, turn to the center, knees come up, and then exhale, bring those knees over to the left. We'll turn toward that left leg, hands come down to the floor, and we'll slowly fold down here. Good, inhale, let's walk our way back up. We'll inhale, come to the center. And then exhale over to the right. Good, little fold here. But this one's gonna be a little shorter, so we're gonna stay here for like 1 or 2 breaths. Good, and then inhale, let's come up. Still turn toward this right leg. We're gonna bring those hands back behind us. Opening up this left quad, opening up the outside of these hips. Good, inhale, let's come up, and now we're just gonna go back and forth with our breath about 2 times each. So lowering down, inhale, we'll come up. Exhale, we'll go back. Inhale, coming on up. And then exhaling down. Inhaling up. Last time, let's go back. And then inhale, coming back to the top. We'll bring those knees to the center. And now we gotta go over to the other side. So knees over to the left. Hands come down over that left leg. Walking forward, short fold here, couple of breaths. And then inhale, we'll come up. And now walking our way back, still pointing toward that left leg, working ourselves backwards. Think about pressing this left knee in towards the mat, opening all the way along that quad and the front of the hip, side of the hip. Inhale, we come up. And now back and forth. Exhale, we'll go down. Inhale up. And exhale back. Lengthen in that femur. Inhale up. Exhale down. The femur just happens to be the human thigh bone. Inhale, we come up. Last time, exhale, we'll go back. Good, back up to the top. Bringing those knees to the center. Good. And now let's open those up nice and wide. So if we need to turn on our mat, because you don't have like the big 360 mats at your house, maybe you do, I don't know. Open those feet nice and wide, good wide legs here. And what I like to do is when I do a wide-legged fold, I use my hands to just kind of scoot myself forward, because what I want to do is tilt my pelvis so that I'm already spilling forward. And then hands will come down, and then just slowly, with our breath, inhale, exhale, look at those fingers just wiggling forward, exhaling down. Inhale, lengthen, wiggle, 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 as we exhale down. We're not trying to break any records here. We're not trying to break our bodies either, so let's do what our body is allowing us to do. Encouraging it to get to its edge, but we don't need to force it to go past where it wants to go. Let's do one more breath. At the edge of this exhale, we'll just drop the head, release those arms, and we'll roll our way back up to the top. We can slowly bring those legs back in. Give them a little wiggle. Waggle your feet if you like. Good. And then from here, again, let's walk those tails back a little bit. Continue to turn that pelvis, keeping the back nice and straight. And we'll just walk our hands down our legs. Gently folding. Again, no need to try and prove anything to anyone. Let's do one more nice long breath. Inhale, lengthen that back. Exhale, we'll slowly deepen just a little bit further. At the edge of that exhale, again, dropping the head, letting those arms soften, and we'll help ourselves up to the top. Very good. Very good. All right. And so now from here, legs are out in front of us still. We're gonna bend this left knee. We're gonna take the right foot and cross it over that left knee. Flexing this right foot. Hands can come behind us if we would like. And now think about moving this right knee away from our body. Lengthening that spine. Use those hands to help support that back. And then we can just kind of wiggle our way into however deep we want to get into this pose, which is nice. So we can move this left foot forward and backward, or we can scoot our butt forward and backward to find where we're at. Get a nice stretch in the outer hip and in the glute. Let's do one more breath here. Keep moving that knee away. And now, keeping our legs crisscrossed where they are, we're gonna move them over to the left. For a little tiny twist. And coming back up to the center, we'll unwind. We'll give ourselves a wiggle if we need, and then we'll go over to the other side. So right knee is going to be bent, foot on the floor, left knee, or left ankle crisscrosses over that knee. Moving the left leg away from our body so we have some space. Lengthen in that back. And then we can wiggle into wherever we're at this time in this pose. Let's do one more breath here. And then slowly we'll take both of those legs, keeping them crisscrossed, and we'll move them over to the right. Still opening up that left knee away from us. And I know you can't actually lengthen a femur, but think about giving these buddies some space. So opening up here in the hip, moving those knees away. And slowly unwind, uncross, wiggle it out. We'll bring those feet back behind us, and we'll come into a child's pose. So knees are bent, our hips are over the heels. Knees are nice and wide. And we'll walk those hands out in front of us, lowering the chest down towards our mats. And now from here, keeping our hips over our heels, let's walk our hands over to the left. Reaching across the body with the right hand. Sinking our hips down toward those heels. Good. Then let's come back to the center. One full breath here. Let's let those chests sink down again. And then we'll walk our hands over to the right. Again, reaching across our body with that left hand. And now we'll walk our hands back to the center. Arms are out in front of us. Let's open those fingers really, really, really wide, pressing all of our fingers down into our mats. Pulling those shoulders back. And now, we're going to use those hands to help bring our chests forward, but are low. We're low, 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 low. And then we're going to slowly scoop our way up into an upward facing dog. Good. Lowering those knees. We'll press back to our child's pose. Rounding in the back. Relaxing those shoulders and our necks. Good. Let's do that again. Keeping our chins close to the mat. Bringing our shoulders forward. And then once we get there, lifting and pressing with our hands into an upward facing dog. Good. Let's lower those knees. Come back to our child's pose. And now let's bring those shoulders forward into our tabletop. Hands are underneath of our shoulders and our elbows. Knees are underneath of our hips. It's completely up to you if you'd like to tuck your feet or if you'd like to keep them straight behind us, up to you. But we're gonna lift that left hand up to the sky, reaching all the way up high, looking toward those fingers. And then as we exhale, let's thread the needle all the way through underneath that right arm. Our shoulder comes down, our head comes down, and we're still physically reaching with that left hand. Let's help open up those shoulders. Now don't let your hips follow. They need to stay over the top of our heels so that this twist ends up in our spine and not a product of compensation. Let's do 2 more breaths here. Inhale and exhale. Nice and soft. Let that back be relaxed so that it wants to twist. Let's wring out some of that tension. And then slowly we'll unwind back to our tabletop. And let's do a couple of cats and cows here. I like to use that as a reset to our spine. So as we exhale, we'll tuck that chin, lift the spine, and then inhale, dropping the tummy and lifting the heart and the tail. One more cat. Exhaling and rounding. And then a cow. Inhale and arching. Press, lengthen that neck. Back to our neutral spine. We'll move over to the other side for a thread the needle. So inhale, let's lift that right hand up to the sky. Open up those shoulders. And then exhale, let's bring it through all the way as far as we can reach. Lower that shoulder down, you can rest the head. And now this left hand, it can stay elbow bended. We can make it nice and long out in front of us. We can begin to walk around toward the right to help open up those shoulders as well. So we're reaching with this right hand. We're reaching with the left hand in the opposite direction. Let's do 2 more breaths here. And then slowly unwind. Come back to our tabletop. And again, let's do 2 cats and 2 cows. Exhale and round. Inhale, we arch. And round. Arch. Good. Back to that neutral spine. And we'll bring ourselves all the way to our child's pose. Arms can be out in front of us, chest are low. Good. Let's inhale back up to our tabletop. Our left hand and our left knee are going to stay on our mats, right where they are. And then we're going to lengthen that right leg and open ourselves up to the right into a modified side plank. So think about lifting the ribs away from the floor, pressing the outside of the right foot into our mats, opening those shoulders, pressing into this left hand. And if we're happy here, we stay here. If we would like, we can also make that line even longer by reaching that right hand up above our head over here. See if we can make ourselves super long from our fingers all the way down to that side of the foot that's pressing into the mat. Good. And now just slowly we'll twist down, touch the floor here, keeping that knee where it is, the left knee, and then slowly open up and twist. So our hips aren't really moving. We're just kind of articulating in the spine. And up. And down. Let's do 1 more. Up. And down. This right hand is going to stay. We'll come down to our tabletop. And we'll move over to the left side. So right knee will stay, right hand will stay. Reaching that left foot out and pressing the side of the foot down into the mat. Opening up to the left. Left hand reaches to the sky. Bringing that hip out in front of us. Good. Opening. Reaching, lengthening. If we would like, we can reach that left hand up over our head. You should feel like all of this business start to open up, release a little bit. And now exhale, let's just bring the hand and shoulders, point them down toward our mat. And inhale, back up. And exhale down, just with our breath a few times. Let's do 1 more. Inhale, we'll come up, reach, exhale, back down to our mats. all the way to our tabletop. Fingers are wide. Back is long, tail is tucked. We're going to bring that right foot forward into a little lunge. Hands can go to the inside. Take your time to wiggle into it. Let those hips begin to sink down. Proud chest. Looking towards our future. Good, and now exhale. Working our way backwards. Let's lift those right toes up toward the sky. Tilt the pelvis. Long, straight backs here. Good, and bringing ourselves forward. Lengthening in front of that left hip, up into our spine. Good, and now let's work our way backwards for another half split. Good, and coming on forward. Hands find the mat. Now we're going to step this right leg all the way back so it's nice and long. Flex the toes, press the heel back away, get that calf, the ankle. Good, and now let's lift those toes, and we're going to step all the way around to the left. And we're stepping over the top of that left foot, and then this right hip still working down. Lengthen here. And then if you would like, you can begin to peek over that left shoulder toward those toes. See how they're doing back there. Good, and then gently unwind, come back to our tabletop, even back to a child's pose. Give ourselves a breath here. Good, and then when we're ready, let's come up and work on the left side. So bringing that left foot forward, setting ourselves up for our lunge. Hands are on the inside of that foot. Settling those hips down, lengthening, bringing that chest up, out to meet the world. And then exhale, let's walk our way backwards into our half split. Long leg, long spine. So we don't want to try and bring our chest down to our thigh, but more towards our shin or our toes to keep those backs nice and long, which will get that stretch into the hamstring, where we tend to all come up a little short. Short meaning tight. We're not all short. Just forward into that lunge again. And we'll do each of those one more time. Nice and long. Right hip, long spine. Rest those shoulders so we have a nice long neck. And then exhale, let's work our way back. Hands can be to the thigh. We've got a block or a well-behaved puppy. And now let's come forward. And now let's step this left foot all the way back. We'll do the calf stretch first. So press that heel away, flex the foot, nice deep flex. And then when we're ready, we'll pick those toes up and move them all the way over to the right. And then think about that left hip still wanting to be with its friend. And then if we would like, we can peek over that right shoulder. Continue to lengthen all the way up the side of our body. Should feel a nice outer hip stretch here. If it's not nice, back off. Good. And now unwind, bring that left knee back into our tabletop. And then we'll go back to our child's pose again for just a breath or two. Good. Let's inhale up to our baby plank. And exhale all the way down to our tummies. Good. From here, our shoulders will be going toward our mat. Our elbows are bent over here by our shoulders into like a little goalpost or a cactus. We can even place our forehead on the mat if we would like. And just hang out here for a second, a couple of breaths. Sometimes it's enough just to be here. Now we're going to place that left hand on the mat, lift up the elbow. We're going to begin to turn backwards toward the right, keeping that right elbow bent. We're going to begin to keep working that shoulder down in toward the mat. We can even use our left leg to step back behind if we would like. And coming on back to the center. We'll go over to the other side. So goalpost arms. We'll place the right arm on the mat. Work that left shoulder down in toward the mat. It may not go all the way, and that's okay. But we're working in that direction. Rolling backwards. Good, and back to the center. Now this one's hard, but it's really good. We're gonna reach that right arm and about a 45-degree angle from our head. We're gonna begin to turn that shoulder all the way down and then begin to roll back. Whew. And back to the center. And now we got to do it on the other side. So Left hand comes out, roll that shoulder down to our mat, and then begin to roll backwards. And slowly we come on back. Come back to our goalpost arms. Take a breath here. Then we're going to bring those elbows underneath of our shoulders, lifting our chest. We'll go into this Sphinx pose. So instead of just pushing up, we want to make sure that this low back is nice and safe. So we're going to scoot ourselves forward and up. I think of like pulling my spine toward the front of my body. Again, not anatomically correct, but that is the vision that I am bringing. So I can open up and create space in between all of those vertebrae. So we're not like crunching anything. Let's do one more breath here. And then exhale, we'll come down. Find our hands underneath of our shoulders and we'll press back to our child's pose. Round in the spine, relax in those hips. Good. And now we're going to tuck those toes and we'll come up to a plank ever so quickly. I like to just start settling into my pigeon from a down dog or a plank, so I have lots of room to get this right leg all the way up to that right wrist, and we can lower back down. We're softening the left leg behind us, and then we're going to pull that right hip back and pull this left hip forward so that they're nice and even with each other. And then we begin to soften. We also want to make sure that those hips are nice and level. So if we need to, we can always put a blanket or a block underneath of our hips to help support us. If we feel like we are leaning off to the Joneses, once our hips are nice and happy where we want them to be, we can stay here on our hands, or we can walk them forward. Come down onto our elbows like Sphinx, or we can come all the way down to a forward fold or somewhere in the middle. But still, thinking about those hips, bringing that right hip back, left hip forward. Just use our breath to give our body permission to just relax and settle in. Be here for a couple more breaths. And then we'll slowly help ourselves up to our hands. We'll tuck this left toe back behind us. Find our plank or even our down dog. We can wiggle it out a little bit. We'll move on to the other side. So we'll bring that left knee forward. Soften the right. Like to walk those toes back behind. We're pulling that right hip forward, left hip back. And our spot here. And stay here for a couple of breaths, and then again, whenever we're ready, if we would like, feel free to fold forward. Do 2 more breaths here. And then when we're ready, we'll slowly help ourselves up to our hands. We'll tuck that right toe back behind us. Step back, you can wiggle it out. And then we'll place those knees on the floor, swish our feet off to the side, and we'll come down onto our bottoms. Good. Let's open up those knees nice and wide, and we'll place our feet together, the soles of our feet together. And then we can hold on to our feet, or we can hold on to our ankles, and we're gonna just lengthen in that spine. Take a couple of breaths. Let those knees fall down toward the floor. If we're happy here, we stay here. If we would like, we can bring our shoulders forward. I even do a little pull here to just kind of help myself forward. Flat back. And then we'll come back up. Bring those knees together. Straighten our legs. We can flap them about a little bit. And then we'll roll up into our little ball. Rock onto our backs. Good. And now right here, we're going to lengthen this left leg. We've still got our knee, our right knee bent. We're just gonna bring that baby over to the left into a spinal twist. So right hand can come out to the side. Left hand can either touch the knee and just guide the knee down, or it can come out to the side. Let gravity do its work. And close our eyes. Just concentrate on our breath as we allow our body to just fall into that twist. One more breath. Inhale deeply. We'll stay for that exhale. And we'll slowly come back to the center. Both knees come into our chest. We'll roll up into a little egg. And we'll move over to the other side. So lengthening that right leg nice and long. Feel that hip opening up. And to relax our shoulders, and we'll just guide that left leg all the way across. Arms and shoulders are soft. Okay, here for one more breath. Inhaling deeply. Exhale completely. And then we'll slowly unwind. Come back to our little egg. One more breath here. Big inhale and then exhale. Let's just fall into our Shavasana. So allow our body to just find a position that is comfortable enough for us to just be completely still. We close our eyes. We soften our jaw. We relax our tongue. And we just be. There's no need to expect anything from our body. It will do whatever is necessary. So we can just hang out. Shavasana for as long as you like or feel necessary, whatever your body needs. If we are ready, we deepen our breath. Little wiggles in our fingers and our toes. Move our head from side to side. And we'll gently bring ourselves back into our space. Bring our knees in towards our chest and we'll roll over onto our side. And then when it is time, we'll help ourselves up to a comfortable seated position. Check in with how we are feeling right now. We'll bring our hands together at our hearts. Lower our chins toward our chest, bowing to ourselves in gratitude. Giving thanks to us for all of the gifts that we've given ourselves today. It is my honor and pleasure to be able to share my practice with you. I appreciate you joining me. I wish you all a very happy rest of your day. And I urge you to err on the side of kindness to yourself and to others. The light in the divine in me recognizes and respects the light in the divine in each of you. And when we are together, we are one. Namaste.